Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint and here are my most anticipated games of 2026, because this year is looking absolutely stacked for new games. We've got the big titles that everyone's talking about, but there are also quite a few games that you've probably never even heard of. But before we jump in, drop a comment below telling me the games that you are hyped to play in 2026, because one of my most anticipated games is Forza Horizon 6, which is set to release in May. Now, I've always been a huge fan of arcade racing games like Need for Speed, The Crew, and especially the open world Horizon series. So to see that we're getting another new one this year is awesome, and this time is going to be set in Japan. Now, they did a reveal a couple of weeks back, and seeing a mixture of city streets, mountain roads, and this stunning scenery, I think this could end up being the best game in the Horizon series. Now, they have confirmed that at launch there are going to be more than 550 cars to pick from, all with new body kits and customization options, the biggest map that we've ever had, and the option to have a garage to store your cars in. You'll even be able to customize it too, and invite your mates over to check it out. But yeah, I'm excited to explore the open world and drift through Tokyo in a GTR. GTA 6, because we cannot talk about new games in 2026 without bringing up Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, this is the game that we've been waiting for, and although we've had a couple of delays already, it has been confirmed in the last few days that it is on track to launch on November 19th. So if you haven't already, clear your calendar because we're not going anywhere. Now, this time we're heading back to Vice City with those neon city streets, overcrowded beaches, ridiculous NPC behavior, and an open world so big and detailed that we're not going to know what to do with it. I think if you've ever played a previous GTA game, you know what we're in for, and if you haven't, well, be ready for an insane and awesome story. Well, I think it's safe to say that we're all going to lose so much time to this game. Fingers crossed it does launch, and that will be coming out on November 19th this year. 007 First Light is the first big standalone James Bond story that we've had in years, and from what we've seen so far, this is looking really good. You get to play as Bond in his early years of his career, a 26-year-old recruit before he earns his license to kill. It's going to be a mix of stealth, gadgets, and gunfights as you jump between those classic spy 007 missions and car chases. It's also going to be a single-player game, which you'll be playing in third person, and although I do think that is the right choice, it would have been awesome to have seen a multiplayer mode too. I think I'm just still waiting to relive that GoldenEye 4-player split screen that I used to play as a kid with my mates. But anyway, this is set to release in May. Marvel's Wolverine is going to be a must-play this year, so Insomniac Games, the team who brought us Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, gave us a deeper look at this, and yeah, this looks absolutely brutal. Now, you're obviously going to be playing as Logan, where the story is going to be exploring his past, and that's going to be based in Canada and Tokyo, plus a few other locations as well. And it's not going to be some vibrant, happy-go-lucky vibe like we've seen before. This is going to be dark, gritty, and did I mention brutal? I actually think this caught a lot of us off guard when the gameplay trailer dropped last year, as it's a totally different tone to Spider-Man, but it is definitely something that I'm looking forward to playing as I love their games, and it will probably be one of PlayStation's biggest games in 2026. Toxic Commando is a new over-the-top first-person zombie shooter, and it is exactly what I am looking for. Literally, as I'm writing this today, they have just released another gameplay trailer, and honestly guys, if this isn't on your radar and you like zombie or co-op games, this is going to be perfect for you. So it's a 4-player co-op game where you and your mates are dropped into this world that's gone mad. And you're not just shooting zombies, you're grabbing vehicles, plowing through hordes of enemies, and crafting weapons. I'm getting a total mix here of different games, like Days Gone with the Hordes, Call of Duty Zombies, and even Back 4 Blood. I just need to convince my squad now to grab this in March, as I think this is going to be a lot of fun to try and stay alive in. Resident Evil Requiem looks like it's going to be darker, creepier, and a little slower compared to what we've seen before, and I am all for it. But I understand this is not going to be for everyone. This time, the story follows Grace, an FBI analyst who's been sent to investigate a string of weird deaths in Raccoon City. Her approach is going to be more about stealth, hiding, and avoiding the zombies which are roaming the hotel. But what's cool is you can also play as Leon, which, as you can imagine, will have a totally different playstyle. Now, both of these will have the option to either play them in first or third person as you explore the abandoned places, and this is going to drop towards the end of February. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is looking like a proper fun game for 2026. We're getting a full-on Gotham City setting, loads of villains, gadgets, and that classic Lego humour. Plus, we not only play as Batman, but also Robin, Batgirl, and even Catwoman. They've said the story will follow Bruce Wayne from his origin story to Batman himself, so it should be a cool story. And these games are also perfect for couch co-op if you've got family or friends to play it with. And the fact that it's a brand new game, not a port from the Xbox 360 days, means it should play really well. Hell Let Loose Vietnam is one of those games that just feels right if you're into big, intense shooters that focuses on teamwork. Now, this is going to be the next major expansion for Hell Let Loose, with massive maps, 50v50 battles, commando roles, and of course it's dropping you into that Vietnam War setting. And that means we've got jungles, tunnels, vast open spaces, and old school combat. Now, from what we've seen, the focus here feels a bit more rugged than the base game. Fights aren't just going to be about grabbing the objective, it's how your squad moves and works together. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is how I want Call of Duty and Battlefield to play, so I'm really feeling this. Crimson Desert is one that I've personally been keeping an eye on for ages now. Every time that they show it, it just looks bigger and more ambitious. Like, could this actually be too good to be true? You're basically in this huge open world where different factions are fighting for control, and you're stuck right in the middle with your crew. And the world itself looks like the sort of place that you could just wander around and get distracted for hours. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis is one for the Lara Croft fans, because this is a complete remake and reimagined game of the 1996 version that we all played back on the PS1 and PC. Now, does anybody else remember locking Winston, the butler, in the freezer? Now I come to think of it, I think that could even be Tomb Raider 2, but either way, this one looks awesome. Now, we've actually only seen a cinematic trailer so far, but she's exploring the jungles in Peru, ancient ruins in Greece and Egypt, and it's given me Assassin's Creed meets Indiana Jones vibes in terms of the graphics and the setting. This is definitely one that I'm looking forward to seeing, and I'm hoping that we see more gameplay later on this year. Fable is back this year, and I feel like there's a lot riding on this. If you remember the old games, they had that weird British humour, dumb side quests, and choices that made you feel like a bit of a hero. Well, from what we've seen so far, they're bringing all of that back, just bigger and better looking. I kind of feel that if they nail the story and make the world feel alive, it could be one of those games that you end up sinking hundreds of hours into. Unfortunately, no, there's no date yet, but Playground Games have said that it will be coming in 2026. Saros is a new IP which makes a nice change to see. It's a third-person action roguelike game set in the alien world called Carcosa. You'll be trying to uncover what happened to the lost colony while fighting through shifting worlds and upgrading your gear over time. Now, we've already seen some gameplay and trailers, and unlike Housemarque's last big release, Returnal, it does have permanent progression. So every time you die, it actually gives you something towards your next run, and you're not starting completely from scratch. I can already feel that this is going to be one of those big games in 2026, and it's set to drop towards the end of April. Life is Strange Reunion might not be one you expect to see on today's list, but it is a series that I have played over the years and I will be giving it a go later this year. So it's different to the big shooters and RPGs, as these are really chill games and more about the narrative story and the characters. It's set to pick up years after the original game, and if you're a fan of the series, you'll be pleased to know that Max and Chloe are back, somehow. Phantom Blade Zero is finally confirmed to be coming out in September, and honestly, this one's been creeping up as one of the biggest surprises of the year. It's a kung fu punk action RPG with a vibe that's kind of like you mix Devil May Cry and Black Myth Wukong together. So, lots of martial art, swords flying, and brutal combat. Now, in this story, you're framed for killing your master, and you end up with 66 days to find the truth before you die. Looks good, and it's definitely one that's on my list this year. Halloween is the sort of game that we need this year, where it's massively inspired by the classic Halloween movies storyline. You can run around either as Michael Myers, terrorizing the neighborhood and slashing the residents as they try to hide from you, or you can play as the residents themselves, getting jump scared around every corner. And what's awesome is there's not only a single player main story, but there's also a multiplayer mode so you can jump on with your mates and slice each other up. And you know what, thinking about this game, wouldn't it be cool if we saw a Scream game? Pragmata is one of those games where every time it shows up, I'm like, wait, what is this actually about? And I mean that in a good way. It's got that weird sci-fi vibe, empty futuristic places, a kid who clearly is not a normal kid, and stuff going on that Capcom still haven't explained to me. It's a bit like Death Stranding, at least that's the vibe that I'm getting here. Now, it looks like it's more about exploring and figuring things out than just shooting everything that moves. And the story follows an astronaut called Hugh and an android called Diana, where apparently they have quite a close father-daughter type relationship. I imagine it's going to be a bit like The Last of Us. Now, apparently this is set to launch in April. Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet is Naughty Dog's next big thing, and the fact that it's them is enough to make me pay attention. Now, this is going to be their first brand new IP or brand new universe in a long time, and instead of a grounded post-apocalyptic or treasure hunting world, they've gone full sci-fi this time, where you get to play as a bounty hunter stranded on this strange, abandoned planet trying to figure out what happened while also trying to stay alive. It looks moody and pretty isolating, so much like their previous game, but this whole retro futuristic 80s Atlantis vibe looks awesome. Now, we don't have a date yet, but they have said potentially 2026 or early 2027, so I have included it in today's video just in case. Marathon is finally launching this year, what feels like 84 years since the last one, and this is basically Bungie going back to one of the old school names, but this isn't just another retro remake, it's a full-on sci-fi extraction shooter. Now, the primary focus of this game is going to be a PvP, so player versus player, but there will be AI bots in here too, as you're battling the other players for loot and to complete the objectives. You'll need to extract while going up against 5 other 3-player teams, and I can imagine this being absolute carnage, but also a lot of fun if you enjoy extraction shooters, and this is set to launch in March this year. Squadron 42 is that space game that people have been waiting on, and honestly it feels like forever at this point. It's a single player story campaign set in the same universe as Star Citizen, but instead of open multiplayer, this one's more like a cinematic space movie where you're a rookie pilot working your way through a big military story. Now, will it drop in 2026? I'm not so sure, but surely if we talk about it, it will happen, right? Halo Campaign Evolved is the reboot or remaster of the very first Halo campaign, and it's one of those throwbacks that actually matters, because let's face it, it was one of the best games to ever come to Xbox back in the day, and they are rebuilding the campaign from the ground up, so the graphics and the setting is gonna look incredible, and I really think this is going to be a real masterpiece, and hopefully we get to play this in 2026. So there you have it. I think this year is looking absolutely stacked, and if all of these actually release when they say they're going to release, we have got a very busy year ahead. Literally every single game that I've mentioned today I do want to play. Now, they are of course my personal choices, but let me know the games that you are hyped to play or your most anticipated games for 2026. Well, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and follow me everywhere. Until next time.